Hey, boy.
See, if you had a straw, Jim, you wouldn't have to do that.
You're right.
We good? Ready?
I'm not saying it's not practical.
Hillary, Jim thinks straws are feminine. Do you think straws are... I don't think
No.
that's feminine.
No,
Does that make me...
that's not what I said.
What'd you say?
It makes me feel
Oh, gotcha.
feminine. And there's great reasons for straws. Straws are awesome. I'm not against straws.
Well,
I just
when you
kind
burn your lip, you're going to wish you had a straw.
Right, but when I'm doing it, I just feel like,
I agree. Straws, not for me either.
nothing wrong with being feminine or straws. I'm not down on any of that. It's just
For you personally.
Depends on the cup,
Yeah,
too,
just-
though.
yeah.
Like, I mean, if you get, like, a fast food cup, you got to drink out of a straw. You can't,
right.
but
Listen, if it's
Yeah,
a
'cause that's
Slurpee,
disgusting.
you gotta have a straw.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
have spoons,
It's in the
too.
name.
Yeah,
Slurpee. That's
Yeah.
true.
I'm
All
not
right.
against
That's
straws.
gross.
Episode 14, Hillary Froning. I'm going to go ahead and step out here.
No, you're not.
I'm gonna take off. And we got Trice
This is a
just
family
hanging out,
affair.
wearing his hat. We got a cold front coming through. It was 60 degrees when I woke up. It's now 40 degrees. So,
I love how you call him boy.
oh boy,
Boy. Every time I hear him, hey boy.
That's
big
so
head,
Redneck. Stop.
pumpkin head.
Oh, he's
I
awesome.
don't like that.
Why?
Because he doesn't have a big head.
Oh, he's got a.
It's growing.
He's
He's
got
growing into it.
He's amazing.
And what nobody knows is right now that he matches Dre. So we're going to have to
He
pan
does.
over to
Oh,
Dre. 'Cause
yeah.
They're wearing the
That's
exact
That's
same.
hilarious.
They're kind of like,
Same
you know.
hat.
He doesn't have a dinosaur onesie on, but he does have on the same
Oh,
hat.
man, maybe we should put
Trey,
him
you
in
need a
that.
dinosaur onesie.
So,
there's-
speaking of little guys, what was it like growing up in the Masters household? You and your sis.
It was so fun. It was so fun. We've always been super, super close. Me and my sister we're 18 months apart.
Did you guys beat each other up when you were little, or was it always like in
Nope.
cahoots?
Yep, always. Always.
Is she like you or different from you?
Total opposite. Well, you think that we're somewhat similar, but
You guys have very similar personalities. You guys like different things, but
Give us some
your
examples.
mannerisms
Yeah.
and stuff, like just the way they talk, they're
Well, they're like two peas in a pod. You see them together, and it's
There's
like
things that I
watching
can't say
Gilmore
that I might get in
Girls,
trouble.
You know?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can't
you kind of put me on
go-
spot there.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we can't go. I mean,
They talk every single day.
every single
all
day.
the time.
Like
That's cool.
We can't go more than 24 hours without
They
talking.
can't go
or
more
it's
than
like,
2 hours without talking.
It's like
Yeah.
a problem. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you mad or
Although
what's going
they're
on?
sometimes they're at each other's throats, but they still have to
Yeah.
talk every 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys created a boutique together in town.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was that like, and what's it like having that with your sister?
So that was her major. That's always been her dream, was to open a boutique. She's
Business or fashion?
fashion
Oh,
merchandise
cool.
major, and so that was her dream. And then we inherited a building, and so we just took a leap of faith and prayed about it. And we're like, okay, well, now's the time to do it. And so we've had it for 2 years now, and it's great. And we just went online and
Tell us about how you picked the name.
It's not our ages. It's
I've actually asked this question a couple times because I
Really?
don't know how.
It's Proverbs 31:25 is
Oh,
what it's named after.
very
It's,
cool.
Yep. But we get asked all the time if it's our address or our ages. I'm not 31. She is not 25. Yeah. And so we went round and round about names for a couple weeks, and then we both sent each other the same verse within like a couple minutes apart, and we both opened it, around the same time, and it was just such a God thing at the same. And so we were like, what if we just named it, and we did the number and the words, and so it's a little different, but it's named after Proverbs 31:25.
I went over there the other day when you guys were having a sale. Maybe
You went shopping in there?
I took Kristen over there, and I pulled up.
Sacrifice.
And yeah, it's good. And I actually walked in, and man, the ladies were at it in there. I had to get out. They were like, I was getting
so
jostled.
busy,
and
like
It's and it's tight in there, so
Yeah.
people are just like,
yeah.
there's
They're
always
getting
people. It's
after it.
packed.
What has been the hardest thing about owning and operating a boutique, and what has been the most awesome thing about it?
Oh goodness. I think the hardest thing has been managing the store and online, because Allie does all of it herself. She has designed the website. She does it out of her living room. She does it all, and managing what's in store and online, and doing the pictures for it all. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot goes into it. And then the best thing is just doing it with her has just been so fun, and
that has to be a
Just
blast.
yeah, and we
Picking
have
out
great
clothes
girls that
together
work
as
with
a
us,
job. I
and
mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's gotta be so
we
fun.
have just the best employees. The girls that work for us are just so great, and that's always a blessing to have good employees. Are hard to find, and they're so sweet, and we trust them with, obviously.
You all look like the clothes are made for you. In every picture of everyone, like everyone in the store,
that's not true.
it's unbelievable. It's like, man, that dress looks good.
Well, thank you.
Where are the online pictures taken? Is it outside somewhere? Because I see pictures with is
all
it the building
over.
behind
But
you?
yeah, it's the building next to us, and then some are at our house,
Okay.
and then Allie. It's just everywhere. It's so random.
It's like
But
it's like a fairy tale land
It's
for
fun.
women.
Oh.
That whole thing's like. Am I
Thank
right?
you.
I mean, I don't want to say something wrong here,
No,
but
it's
like you're
fun.
I've been in there the
Thank
last
you.
2 days.
picking out the clothes, selling the clothes, the whole thing.
It's a lot of fun. Allie, she does a great job at it, so it's a lot of fun.
And they'll dress you if you just walk in. I always walk in, I go, I have no idea. Will you pick something out? And they're just
Right.
like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo."
Yeah, and Eleni's really good at that too. She's with
Oh,
it.
really?
She's
Yeah. She did it for me yesterday. It
And
was
she's
awesome.
honest. Like that's a good thing about our girls too. Like they'll tell you, no, that
Yeah.
doesn't look good on you. Let's try this over here.
Yeah. I've been shopping a couple times. Like I remember one time going to the Buckle
The buckle.
to buy some
Is
jeans.
it the buckle or
It's
just
just
buckle?
I don't know.
Buckles,
But I was trying to Buckles.
Kroger's,
Yeah.
Walmart's.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Hashtag Jim Silver.
Jim Silver.
And like he walked in there, and it's the first time someone was like aggressively, okay, this is what's gonna look good on you. You need to try these jeans. You need to do this. And they're handing you stuff. And you're like, whoa.
See, I don't like that. I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
don't
to
know.
be chased around a store. I don't like to be told, like, if somebody comes up and says, "Can I help you?" Nope, I got it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't. And you
I
need to
don't
be told,
ever have
that
it.
doesn't look good on
I don't
you.
ever have it, but
Right.
I don't like that personally. Is what I'm saying.
That's why
I'm sure with
yeah.
women it's a
really
lot better.
comfortable in sweatpants.
But yeah,
Yeah. And you just like black.
yeah, and really, really dark
frosted
gray.
clothes.
Really. So
Yeah.
my dad's colorblind, and he wears ties, suits and ties to work every day. And it was always so funny to me as a kid because we'd go into like Macy's or whatever, and he goes up to the lady, he goes, can you pick some ties and some shirts out for me? I'm not so good with colors. And they all go, and he goes, actually, I can't see colors. So
so
because
good.
otherwise he had to start doing that because he would come home and he had an orange shirt with like a purple tie. We're like, do you know what color that is? And he's like, blue.
Poor thing.
He always guesses blue. And I'm like, Dad, that's not blue.
That's not it.
Actually, I tried to teach him his colors one time when I was little, and I got the Crayola box out. But I was so heartbroken that he couldn't see colors. I took the name of the crayon and I faced it towards him because I was like, Dad, what color is this? And I'd go,
So speaking of, is there ever anything in the store that you just hate? That you guys kind of like, no, that's not good. We don't want that. How do you go find clothes? I mean, what's that?
We go to Atlanta, to the Atlanta Mart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
how often do you have to do that? guys sell clothes
It
like
just
wildfire.
varies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you actually drive up there, you go, you buy
and then
it.
we just meet vendors, and
Oh, okay.
then we just do it online, and
Very
a
cool.
lot of work.
So you talk so much about adoption and your adoption story and how much it means to you. And, you've shared with me how important it is for you to like share the lessons and stuff you've learned. Do you have any advice for people that are maybe thinking about the adoption process or going through it, of something maybe you've learned, or you both, like this is for both of you, that you think might be helpful or that you think is important?
Oh gosh, so much. I feel like when you get started in the process, it's so overwhelming and it's so much paperwork, and no adoption story is the same. But I feel like it can be overwhelming, but at the same time, that's what makes adoption so beautiful. Is I love that no adoption story is the same. There's some that are similar, but you won't find anybody that has two alike. And I think the best advice I was ever given is just don't give up. The paperwork, it's all worth it. Like it goes by fast, and the waiting part's the hardest, obviously. But that's with anything, and I don't know. It's just not to get discouraged with all.
Well, I think
of the
you've been such an
process.
inspiration, you guys and your family, and sharing your story. And like, it's all the people that come through the doors at Train with Rich and things like that are always saying how inspiring you have been and Rich has been in the process. So it's awesome that you're there to share that with everybody,
Well,
How's it been having a little boy?
very different than a little girl. Very different than a little girl. He is just, he's so laid back, and I mean, Lakeland was very happy too, but I mean,
She's
just
just busy. He's
Yeah.
kind of just if you put him in the floor and give him some toys, he's happy all
Yeah.
the time. The
Yeah.
kid's never
Always
I mean,
smiling.
He just smiles all the time, and
He's not feeling good, and he's smiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
smiles.
mean,
Happy.
maybe snot,
we take
but
him
it's
to
still-
the doctor, and they're like, "Oh, he's okay," and I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
he's sick."
yeah, he's
But
always.
yeah, he's a very happy baby.
So who gets to pick out Trice's outfits? You or Rich?
Me until a certain age. That was the agreement. Until a
Oh,
certain
okay.
age, I get to, because I love like the smocked outfits.
Lakeland's outfits were
and-
incredible, so I didn't know if like with a boy, that got
Yeah.
to change a little
Well,
bit.
and I'm
or...
losing Lakeland. Like,
However, there's some lines that we agreed. Like,
Right.
if I see something that that is absolutely not, then most of the time she's like, after some light discussion,
Right. Some light discussion. Some banter.
So,
yeah.
she's like, okay, I won't do it. Because you got to look back. I mean, how many pictures does she take, and how
Yeah.
many people see this stuff? This kid's gonna be
But it's
hazed.
so cute.
He's gonna be like, Mom,
He's
what
gonna
were
have
you
the best
doing?
year
to
of
me?"
Yeah, or he's gonna be like,
Ever.
Dad, why did you
Yeah.
let her do
Why
that
did
to
you let
me?
that happen?
Oh,
Yeah,
but
that
it's
will actually
so
happen.
cute.
It will, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want that coming back on me. I don't want that on my conscience.
wait, so how did you negotiate decorating Trice's room?
I just
We
bought a
did.
bunch of stuff.
While he was born in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and so while I was in Florida, he was like, "I'm just gonna do it," and I was like, "Please don't, just wait until I get back." And he's like, "I'm just gonna do sports themed," and I was like,
I wanted a bedroom like I would have wanted when I
Right.
was a kid,
But my
Right.
argument was he'll have forever to have
true.
a sports themed room.
Right.
So just let him have a little boy's room for just a minute.
I don't want to throw you under
Yeah.
the bus, but I was there when you were thinking about that, and he was super excited. That whole thing with like, can I get this Detroit Lion thing, and I'm going to do
Yeah.
this, and he
I
was
bought
like,
it all.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, so
You did.
how did it end up?
You did.
Because
I
I'm pretty
didn't-
sure it's a sports
I-
theme.
brought it all.
It's like
You did. You
it's
bought
like 3/4 sports, and then you have some little boy stuff in there.
What?
Oh, I was gonna
A
say.
All
crib?
kinds of teddy bear stuff,
A
and
teddy bear.
there's other stuff. There's a lot of Notre Dame, some Red Wings, Lions, Tigers,
And a
stuff
teddy
in
bear.
there. There's
And then he made me use Lakeland's crib because it was so expensive. He's
And
like,
she
"You're going to
never-
use it again."
she never used it.
That's
So
funny.
So I was like, "Okay."
is that funny?
He thinks that's hilarious. So, I
Well,
heard you
mommy,
telling a
it's fine.
story the other day about kind of. See, I never heard the original story of like Rich finding CrossFit and like you guys going there on spring break or something. Can you tell that story? Because I was like, what? How did I never hear this before?
It's super random.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really random. So when we first started dating, there was no CrossFit. Yeah, and so
Well, probably 4 or 5 months after we started dating, I started doing CrossFit.
yeah, and then Darren was supposed to sign up with you, right?
Yeah. This was about a year after I'd started doing CrossFit. I decided that me and Darren both decided that we were going to compete. We were going to do they had sectionals before the open. And so I signed up while Darren was home at Christmas. He was supposed to sign up when he came back, and he never did. And so we went to sectionals in Huntsville, Alabama on the way to spring break. And
So he was like, "Okay, we're gonna stop by, and if I don't do well, we'll just leave and head out early." And then he just kind of kept winning. I was like, "Okay, we'll just keep hanging out then." And
Oh
then
my
That's
gosh.
his
awesome.
mom drove down.
yeah.
And
So on the way to
then
spring break, like where people primarily relax and vacation, you guys did your
just
first CrossFit.
stop by and yeah.
Sectionals, yeah.
And then that was the year that if he won, you got to go to regionals or the games or what?
So if you went top 15, then you made it to regionals, and then from regionals, top 5 made it to the games. And so I was like, if I'm top 20 after day 1, we'll stay. If not, because there was like 75 guys, I was like, if not, we'll just
Yeah.
pack it up and
Go to the beach.
go to the beach.
Yeah.
And so after day 1, I was in first. So I was like, I guess we'll hang out a little
Yeah. Let's see what happens tomorrow.
yeah.
bit. Let's just
That's
play it
awesome.
out. Let's play it out.
That's
I love that
crazy.
part of the story. How'd you guys meet?
You will never guess.
I wouldn't.
Getting our hair done.
Getting your hair done.
Just get my hair cut. She was
Okay,
getting her hair
done, cut.
done. Yeah.
Perspective.
I was
Very random.
getting off shift at the fire department one morning on a Saturday, and the lady that cut my hair for years also did Hillary's hair. And so while Hillary's was getting colored or whatever they do, mine was getting cut.
Whatever they
You
do.
can kind of tell the whole story there.
Oh, it's okay. And so, at the time, I managed a tanning salon. So, on Saturdays, it's like, oh, you're just gonna go early and not get super fancy on Saturdays. So it's like, pajamas and
It's Saturday.
Saturday, and so we got there, and her name's June. She was running late.
June, that's
she's
cute.
she's just a mess. She's so fun. I've known her pretty much my whole life, and so we were waiting, and he was there too, but I couldn't tell who it was, obviously. But I knew him. We went to high school together. And
Okay.
so
We didn't
I
know,
know each other,
knew
but I knew
of
who
each
he
other, but
was.
didn't know each other.
And
You're
so-
older than
She was,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a year
2
older
years
than her, but
Right.
2
2 years
grades
ago.
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so she pulls in, and he gets out of the car, and I was like, there ain't no way I'm getting out of this car today. I'm just going to reschedule. So he opens the door. She unlocks it, and he opens the door and just waits for me to get out of my car. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I just pulled my sunglasses down on top of my face and just like, okay.
Oh wow.
So
I had just gotten off shift at the fire department. So,
So were you over there? Were you kind of like being polite, or were you like, oh,
Yes.
she's hot,
I was
I'm
being-
waiting
well,
for her to
both.
get out of her car?
both, obviously. My mom always held the door. That's just always been open the door and then always hold the door. That's just always, and it drives Hillary crazy.
because he does it like when we're in a hurry. Like,
Right.
just go. Like,
Right.
don't open the door. Like, just
She's got places to
get
be.
out of the way. And he always backs in, too,
Yeah.
which that just irks me. Like, just park.
I feel like it's such a dude thing.
It
Like, that's
just-
such a guy thing to back into a parking space.
Well, I think now he does it just intentionally.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
he's like, well, we can get out of here faster. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're
It's
acting
tactical.
like
Yeah.
Okay,
If something
so
Yeah,
happens,
you
you
gotta
gotta
think
get
ahead.
out.
the building's on fire.
Yeah.
It's.
It's those instincts taking over. I'll take
Do
care
you
of my
back
wife.
into parking spots, Jim?
I do.
Really?
I did
Like,
it yesterday.
what percentage of the time?
If I don't back
70.
in, I pull through. If it's a double
Yeah.
parking spot, that way technically I'm.
If I have the option, I will back in
Every
if I
time.
can. Yeah.
do you back in?
No.
I've
If I
never.
do, 17 times later.
Hillary doesn't because I've seen her try to back
You better
up to the
watch
back of the
out.
back up to the garage. When I walked out to help her unload some stuff, and it was like Austin Powers, that scene from Austin Powers where he's like stuck in the hallway. It was like. I was like, she had it the one time that she completely pulls
Oh,
forward, like
gosh.
guns it, like cuts it.
That's
It was
awesome.
Oh, that's too funny.
So you held the door.
Held the door.
You went in. Now, was this a like attracted right away thing, or
I
did he
wouldn't
have any
look at him.
game? You
She
know,
was
or
on-
what
I
I
happened?
was like, this is terrible. Because I just looked awful. I was like, don't even talk to me. Like, because I had never, like, met him. We
Right.
never
Yeah.
spoke before. But June lived her here. She still takes credit to this
Oh.
day that she introduced us. She
That's cool.
played matchmaker. And so,
But that's what you want, right? You
Yeah.
want to see
oh yeah,
the girl kind of
at her worst.
at her worst, or what she would say is
Well,
not
he
her best,
definitely did.
because that's what you.
Yeah,
That's the starting point,
Yeah.
right?
I don't remember any
Right.
of that
Right.
being like
yeah.
her not having makeup or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah,
I
we
remember
don't
that.
we don't really see it like that.
Well, that's what happened. So, he,
I added her on Facebook after that.
Oh, Facebook.
Oh,
Boom.
just that's crazy. And then what?
So it went high tech right away.
yeah, pretty much.
okay.
Yeah. and
So then there was like started dating after that, and
No.
we had a rocky start.
oh, okay.
We both
There's the
gotten out of
beginning
like
of summer,
we both gotten out of like what
long term.
4 or 5 year relationships, both of us, and so it took
We
a
weren't
little while.
wanting anything
Yeah.
serious, obviously.
Right.
So,
Do you want to tell the story?
no, I don't.
You don't wanna
It's
tell
not on
the-
this podcast.
Just the highlights.
There was
Yeah.
one time. I'll tell one of the stories. There was one time where she came to the station, and we were kind of hanging out, and we'd like cook dinner with the guys and whatever. And so she goes to leave, and I open the door for her, and she gets in the car. She goes, "So
You better tell the whole story.
we'd been
first.
talking, hanging out for probably 4 or 5 months before this." And so she gets in the car and she goes, "So what are we? Are we like talking? Are we dating?"
Right.
And I made the fatal mistake of saying, "I don't like titles."
I mean, 4 or 5
she's
months,
like, "You know what? Don't ever talk to me again."
Oh yeah.
And so the next day I didn't text her.
Right.
About 9 o'clock that night. "Why haven't you talked to me all day long?" And I was like, "You told." Okay, all right, this is
Yeah.
how this is gonna work.
Yeah.
So that's when I was kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
she's a keeper for sure. But
That's awesome.
and so after that,
How long have you guys been married?
it'll be 6 years.
I know.
It'll be 7 years. It was 6 years. It'll be 7. Mm-hmm.
forever.
Forever. Can you? So this is like one of my favorite stories of all time because you've been around all the crazy CrossFitters 24/7 and your muscle up story. Can you tell the muscle
yes.
up story?
No.
Yes.
I've had people asking
I want to
me,
hear. I've never.
What is
You've
the,
never heard the
because,
muscle up
no,
story?
this is so. This shows how strong of a person she is.
Can I
like,
tell it,
it's
or do you want to
incredible.
tell it?
Let me
Like you
let me
have to
say
have so much,
one of the
so many
things.
guts to do this.
One of the things I think is super cool about you is that you're not, you're like not a big fitness person. Not that you're not fit. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but
Oh.
this world that he lives in,
She could care less.
he goes to do, and you do your thing, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
you have to connect to
It's
it
awesome.
sometimes. So what's
Yeah.
the muscle up story?
Oh, it's so good. She's so tough.
So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I could do a muscle up. I don't do CrossFit. I saw that.
she's sure. We've had this. She's like, they don't look that hard. I could do a muscle up, and I was like, and I don't think that in the future you could have the capacity. I think that you could in the future
In the
have the
future.
capacity
So I
to
told
do
my
a muscle up, but you can't do a pull up and you can't do a ring dip.
Mm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't think I can?
No, I know you can't.
No, you don't think I can.
I know you can't do a
No,
pull
you
up, and I
don't
know you
think
can't
I
do a
can.
ring dip. Let's go outside. Let's go to the gym.
Let's take this out into the
So-
gym. No,
So
Can we transport everything?
no, right?
we're not
Right.
going anywhere.
So this was the beginning of that argument, and so
This
he's
is
like,
probably
"You can't do
3
it.
years ago.
You can't do it."
Right.
Right
And
now,
I was like,
you can't do it.
"Okay." Well, I had been doing CrossFit for like a minute, a hot
She
minute.
goes in like
Hot
2 week
minute.
spurts every 2 years, basically.
And
So this was like her third 2 week sprint or spurt. So yeah,
This was at our old house, and we had a garage gym. So literally, no one would look for me there. That would be the last spot that anyone would look for me is a gym.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to show him that I can do a muscle up. Because here's the thing. I'm used to seeing
well, you were out there doing like other things
everyone
too.
else
Sure.
do these muscle ups.
Sure.
Looks so easy.
Sure.
Not the normal person
Sure.
do a muscle up.
Right.
And so the problem was, here's what happened. The problem was the rings were too
The
high.
rings were way too high.
The rings were way too high.
That's
Dre,
valid.
Hide your face. I can see it. The rings were too high, and so I had to stack boxes to get to the rings.
Plates. Didn't you say plate? I thought you said
Whatever.
plates.
They were plates. So I had to stack these plates up to get to the rings. And so I put my phone up on the boxes, and I talked a lot of trash on the phone.
You don't think I can do a muscle up? I'm going to
that's so
show
awesome.
you.
Yeah, and if
Where
I
is this
wouldn't,
video?
if I wouldn't have talked trash,
It's-
I would have saved the video.
If anybody works for NSA and you can pull this off of an archive somewhere, I would pay you. I want
Yeah.
to see this video because she deleted it before anybody
It's worth
could see it.
several thousands of dollars.
I was like, okay, so here we go. And so I jumped, and when I jumped, I missed one of the rings, and I only got one of them. So of course I was like, well, I'm not going to waste my energy trying to get one of them.
On one-armed muscle up.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm just going to let go and restart.
Right.
So when I let go, I rolled my ankle.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my God, I broke my foot. And so I literally laid there, and all you could see in the video was like that one ring. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
I've broke my foot, and I'm gonna die in here, and nobody's gonna find me.
That's
I laid
so
there.
But
awesome.
how hardcore are you when you're like, you know what? I'm going to show everybody.
I know,
I'm just
I love
going to
it.
go in there. That's why I love that
I
story
love it.
because it just shows how tough she is. It's
Well,
like,
so
whatever.
so I went in the house, and like I cried for like 15 minutes because my foot swelled. And Rich came in there, and I was like, I'm not gonna tell him. I'm just not gonna say anything about it.
I was.
And I'm gonna
somewhere.
go in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna go show him again that I can do a muscle up because
Right.
I would have had it if I could have reached the
Right.
rings.
I believe in you. I think you can
Yeah.
do it.
And,
Yeah.
And then he saw my foot and was like, "What happened?" And I started crying again. I was like, "It was not muscle up."
Gosh, that video would have been.
You should have just said
we
you
could've
got it
made
and you jumped down,
thousands.
you know?
Well,
it
then
was my landing.
That was
also,
the lady.
also in there, she was like, I didn't know that the med balls were different weights. She tried to do a wall ball with a 20-pound wall
Oh my
or a 30-pound
gosh.
wall ball. She's like, I almost
Oh.
broke
I
my
would-
wrist.
Oh.
I would break my face.
Why are they different? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do we have them?
So I have a
Doesn't
great.
make
This
sense.
is
Yeah.
this is a question I think is super valuable. So again, you're around like all these crazy CrossFitters, and there are a lot of relationships where there's someone who CrossFits and there's someone that doesn't. What advice do you have to the people that have these crazy loved ones that are dragging them to all these events? What advice would you give to someone supporting someone pursuing CrossFit? Because it's tough. Like being a bystander at those events, like they're long, they're hot, they're exhausting. Everyone gets a little on edge. You're never really in a good mood while you're competing, you know? Do you have any advice for the supporters of the people doing crazy
And
stuff?
it's an expensive hobby, too.
Oh.
Just
That's another story.
Yeah,
Go
let's
ahead
not
with this
tell that one.
Yeah, I'll tell that one.
let's not.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
not.
we will.
There are probably a lot of dreamers that are listening to this
Dreamers.
podcast.
Don't crush dreams.
I just, that's a hard one.
But how do you stay so patient? Like, what are you thinking to yourself when you're at a 3-day event or at the CrossFit Games and you're supporting this person you love more than anything, but it's not exactly an easy process to sit there.
It's not. I'm a people watcher. I love watching it. I truly do. But I feel like that's also what makes me think I can do a muscle up. Like
It looks easy.
it
sure.
looks very easy. It's not easy. It isn't easy.
No.
Like I feel like, because that's why he's right. I do go in 2-week spurts every 6 months. Like once it gets to the point, because I was a dental assistant before, when it got to the point of I can't sit myself down and get myself up, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
You go to work and you can't like.
I was like, Rich, I'm up and down all day
Yeah.
long, and I can't get myself up and down.
That's a good
I can't do it anymore.
I can't.
And he's like, you just got to work past the soreness. I'm like, okay, get somewhere because I'm dying.
And we're sore all the time.
Yeah, y'all are sore all the time.
I mean, for sure. Is there anything that you'd change about the sport of CrossFit, like just from a bystander perspective, in terms of make it shorter, don't kill people? Is there anything that you see that you're like, I wish it was different? I just that's from a bystander perspective because we're super close to it, so it's hard to say like, I wish this was different. Like I used to be a cross country runner and triathlete, and my parents were always like, this is the most miserable sport to watch. You run away
Yeah.
from everybody. We don't see you for 5 hours, and then you run back. So I didn't know if there was anything like in the CrossFit world that's like, man, that's annoying. Like you never know what they're on or what they're doing or anything like that. There might not be an answer. I don't know.
I mean, the
be
list
gentle.
goes on.
Be
I know. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I mean, that's why I ask because I have no idea.
You can say what you want.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
way.
I've never really thought of it that
One
way.
of the things that's cool about you guys is that you're all girl and you're all dude. Fashion and clothes and all the things you're really into, and he's into guns and trucks and CrossFit. But it works in your world, You're in his world as far as you need to be, and he's in your world, and it works.
We're
It's super cool.
Definitely opposites attract.
Yeah.
We are total opposites.
So how do you balance being a mom, a shop owner, a property manager, a philanthropist? Like you're flying over doing events, like you do so much constantly. How do you balance all of that? It's mind blowing to me. And you have an infant and a toddler. It's crazy.
I have a lot of really good help. My mom, my mother-in-law, my sister, and my kids are sweet. I mean, they're wild. My toddler is real wild. But I have really good help, and I lean on them a lot. But they're always there when I need them. I have friends that are always there too. They help me when I'm crazy. But
And a
yeah,
good
it always
husband.
works out. Well, obviously.
Which one of those
You're
jobs
the
do you
two.
like the most?
Oh gosh. Obviously, the mom is the first.
You said you wanted to be a mom since you were like
Oh,
Ever since I met
forever.
her.
yeah.
That's what she
I
said.
used to want 5 kids though.
5?
I did.
Till
I
she
wanted-
That's
married
a
me.
team.
So she married me.
Yeah, I did. That's the first. When we first started dating, I said I wanted a big family, and then, now I'm like, well, I think, I don't know. But Lakeland, she's a handful. She's a spitfire for sure.
Firecracker.
awesome.
Outside of your children, you guys have a huge family. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not only do you have blood relatives, but man, the people that are in and out of your lives all the time from all over the world and all over the country, and there's something going on all the time.
All the time.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's
We
awesome.
have a house full all the time,
Yeah.
but I love it. People
Yeah.
say all the time, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, when our house is empty, it just makes me sad. Like,
Have you always
love
enjoyed
having-
like hosting things? Like you host the most. Like if you say like, "Hey, Hill, can we like do this at your house?" Like it is out of a magazine. You show up and you're like, how did you do this? Did you always know that you were great at entertaining? Like, is that something that you've always enjoyed too, or did that just come with people constantly being around?
I don't feel like it's out of a magazine, so no.
Okay, Dre, we're gonna have to flash a couple pictures from a couple of her events at her house. I would like to see a vote of does
Especially
this look like a
Lakeland's birthday
magazine?
parties.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Just tell them about one of the
Well, I had
birthday
help
parties.
with the birthday parties.
Yeah, but still.
They're incredible.
Birthday parties, though, that they're supposed to be over the top, especially first.
What was
And
the titles of
second
that
and
one?
Birthday parties are supposed to be over the top, right?
Right.
I mean,
Should be whatever you want it to be.
yeah.
She has a gift.
Yeah.
What was it, like pickles and ponies or something?
Those are her
like,
favorite
I
things.
mean, who comes up with that?
Allie.
It's incredible. It was so good.
Those were her 2 favorite things. So we did a pickles and ponies party.
That's awesome.
Whatever.
And there were lots of pickles and ponies, and I think Lakeland had a blast.
Yeah.
I think like you were asking how you get that stuff done, and you guys in a lot of ways it's just we get things done. We get it done. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I feel like, I asked that question and you don't even like have a second thought of like, that's hard for people. And like most people, one of those things is hard. And for you, you're managing like 4 or 5 different things. And you're like, oh, it's hard. You're like, you looked at me like, no, because you guys just get it done. It's pretty incredible.
Well, then I say, oh, I'm so stressed out. Can you like push on my neck for a second?
I was talking to my wife the other day, and I think that perspective is really important. Gaining it and learning, and we were talking about what I have learned from you guys, and I have a tendency to overthink things and worry too much, and not that you don't think. I'm not saying that, but you don't. You get it done. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's do this.
I worry a lot less than this one.
I worry. But I think it's because I'm a planner.
I think that's how we balance
Yeah.
out, though, because
I think so.
I worry nothing,
for sure.
and I don't plan anything.
Right.
That's
She's
true.
the complete
He doesn't.
opposite.
So then your structure is necessary
Yeah.
for the flow of everything.
But I think it's cool. She does slow you down.
Yeah.
And that's we see that happen in everyday life, but it's a good match and it works.
Yeah.
And I've looked at that and thought, man, you know what? Like, in order to get some things done, you have to take reasonable risks in life, and you did it with the muscle up, which was cool,
I
and
love that. That is
It was
one of my
very
favorites.
aggressive and over the top. But I think too, like for your kids, like you just do it.
yeah.
Like, and every year for Lakeland's birthday, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that again. I'm not gonna be over the top again for her party. And every year, I'm like, oh, but you just do it.
She came walking out to the barn yesterday, and she has lipstick. Because she puts it on herself, and
Her
she's
chocolate
3.
lips.
She
Chocolate
looks like
lips.
the
Her chocolate
Joker
lips.
from The Dark Knight. That's what like.
But she's putting on. She's 3.
Oh yeah.
She's talking. She's over. She's going to be able to do muscle ups because she's swinging from
Yeah.
rings.
Yeah.
She's
She'll
putting on
put
her
you
own
in
shoes.
place.
Yeah.
She's like not. She doesn't want anybody to help her with the
No,
things she's doing. She's
she's
headed
in
up to the house to get her briefcase or whatever she's
Her
doing. I mean,
briefcase.
She's independent. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, she will put you in your place. She is sassy. But
but that translates to an adult who gets things done.
Yeah, she'll get it
my
done.
gosh,
who-
absolutely. Do you have any crazy Christmas stories from Lakeland yet? Has she done anything? Or I mean, she's only been around for 3 Christmases, but
she
She finds Christmas presents a lot.
she was funny.
doesn't
It was
know.
snowing the other day, and she came running in. And she goes, "Mommy." I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "It's Christmas time." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Girl after your own heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillary's obsessed with Christmas.
Well, part of the deal with getting her to come to this podcast or do this was an extra week of Christmas, wasn't it? Or
and an
extra week.
additional tree. It's a tree
Whoa,
and a week.
no. it
Oh,
was
I
an
stated
extra,
she's not
no.
coming on
Yeah.
unless she gets
it
one
did
more
say
tree
something
and a
about
week.
an additional tree
We
in
have
the text.
4 full-size trees in the house.
So that's 5 now, bro.
Yeah.
no.
Start
It is.
shopping.
No.
Slow down.
No. No. We have 4
Stop being the Grinch.
full-size trees.
She's like, I'm leaving.
We have
It's over.
12 foot.
Delete it,
and
Dre.
3 8. Don't delete that. What? And
Poor
3
Dre.
8 foot.
I just don't know why you're such a Scrooge.
I'm not a Scrooge.
Your house looks beautiful.
I like
Thank you,
Christmas. We just have a lot of Christmas trees and a lot of
I don't
Christmas
really think
stuff.
you can have too
And a
many.
lot of Christmas stuff that we didn't use this year.
Because you
I
wouldn't
don't
get it
know.
out
Or
of the
last
attic.
year. It was
You
out
made
of the
me do
attic.
it.
I don't know how
This
you-
is a lie.
It's
What's the-
awesome.
She's
It's not a
lying right
lie.
now. You are lying. I got
I
everything
didn't put
down.
that back up.
I got everything
And I didn't
down.
put it back up
Yeah, well, I don't know why you did that.
because you
Next
were being
question,
a
Allie.
Now I have to,
So this is a great
now I have to
segue
take
into
it back down.
this is a great segue into this is the game we're gonna play today. We're gonna play the newlywed game.
Oh,
So
great.
you know when you go to weddings and you give people the like you have like one of his shoes, he has one of your shoes,
yeah.
and you ask the questions and you see like. So we're gonna play this game, but because it's visual, Dre's gonna input a sound. So you guys can just like raise your hands or whatever to who's what. But Hillary's sound. So how do we do this, Dre? So like if I ask you the question like who drives the fastest, Hillary's sound will be Okay. And now, same question if you thought it was him. Rich's sound will be... Okay.
Awesome.
So now, do you guys want to face each other? You want to turn around?
No, I think they're fine just the way they are.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we... But for
Don't
the visual
lie.
side...
I got you.
We can turn our backs to each other. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Don't lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I know you're not true.
Whoa.
You're not honest sometimes.
You're the.
Okay, so
You like
here.
to win.
The Hillary, you will be the toy.
Okay.
Rich, Hillary is the donut, the toy, and then
Makes me
the hand with
nervous.
nothing in it is Rich.
Okay.
So
Okay, so what now?
so we're gonna ask the question, and if you think the answer is Hillary, you raise your donut. She
Okay.
raises the toy if it's
Okay.
her. If you think the answer is you, you raise your empty
Empty hand. Got it.
And Trice, you hold the bottle up for whoever you think. Okay. And
So I raise this if it's me.
Yes.
This if it's him.
yep. Okay, Jim, you're gonna help me. You read first question.
Okay. You read the first question.
Ooh, who made the first move? You can't pick both. Rich says both. Hillary says you. Who said I love you first? Rich.
All right. Who says I'm sorry first after an argument?
Do this one too.
Who only says I'm sorry?
Who was the biggest geek at school?
Trice is laughing. Hillary.
You're saying you're the biggest geek in school?
Probably.
Oh, what? Come on.
Who is the better driver?
Better driver?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Better driver who drives faster.
Who is the better driver?
Better driver.
Who is better at keeping secrets?
They both say the other one.
Who is more likely to give the other food poisoning?
Trice thinks that's funny.
You think that's hilarious?
Rich. Who is more spontaneous? Rich.
Who is more likely to drop their phone in the toilet?
Hillary. Where are we?
Number 10.
Who is more likely to get injured? Rich.
Who is more likely to be running late?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
All three.
Oh, this one's not even fair right here.
I know. This is
Who's a
just-
better dresser? Don't lie,
I was
Rich.
gonna say, don't even pretend.
No, not at all.
Who will be in control of the TV remote?
You skipped 13, which is I think is really good. Who spends more money?
Oh, who spends more money?
No, don't even put that.
Don't even. Who is more likely to deal with a spider in the bath? Didn't you guys have
A mouse.
a rodent?
A
the other
mouse.
day?
A mouse.
Who is more likely to get
Farmhouse.
lost? Trice is like, yeah.
Who is messier?
Who has the smelliest feet?
That's an easy one. Who spends the most amount of time in front of the mirror?
Oh, that's a lie.
Who has the craziest family?
Uh.
That could be a
That
tie.
could be
Both.
Yeah.
Who gives better birthday presents?
Who has the better sense of style? Yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah. Who talks more?
Ooh, I really don't know the answer to that actually. What number are we on?
24.
24. Who is more likely to use all the hot water?
I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
Yeah. Skip 25. Moving on to 26.
Who snores the loudest?
Oh, don't even.
I don't snore.
What? Let's get your sister on here.
Who has better general knowledge?
Oh. Oh, wait.
No.
No, hold on. Gave you some extra time to think that one through. Who's a bigger baby when they have a cold?
Oh.
Who has the better taste in music?
Darren.
Darren. His iPod is incredible. Who is always right?
Who is actually always right, or who is
Number
thinks
30.
they're always right?
You choose your answers.
Number 31. I want to know the answer. Who is a better dancer?
I do too.
It depends on The situation.
On the situation.
The situation and the influence.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, talking salsa or swing here, or
Nope.
what? Okay. Who's the most organized?
Yeah, probably her.
Who's the most stubborn?
Her.
Who is more likely to play dress up with Lakeland?
Dress up? Hillary. I help, but I don't.
Wow. I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
Who owns the most pairs of jeans, shoes, sunglasses, etc.?
No, no way. Not even close.
Who spends more time on Facebook?
Now, was this supposed to be specifically Facebook or
social media.
Oh, I don't know.
Still her.
Why are you looking at me?
If both of you were
I can
trapped,
hear the rattle.
oh, I'm sorry. If both of you were trapped on a desert island, who would be more likely to eat the other one to stay alive?
Oh, he would. For sure. I would die. For sure.
I was like, I read that. I was like, oh my gosh. Who is most likely to do math homework with Lakeland and Trice in the future?
Who's more adventurous?
Who is more likely to get a sunburn?
Nah.
You sunburn every time we're on
I
vacation.
don't sunburn. It sets in the day after.
It sets in.
More likely to celebrate?
I think we already did that one. Oh, that's kind of the same. Get a speeding ticket.
You're a liar.
Who is?
Throw a party. We already know the answer
Yeah,
to that
go
one.
to this one.
Wake.
45.
Who's more likely to wake up grumpy?
Who is more likely to do the dishes?
You guys both do dishes.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are constantly doing dishes.
Who's more likely to keep a surprise?
Neither one of us.
I'd be surprised.
Who's more likely to cry in a movie? Fair.
More likely to talk to a
She
stranger?
told me I didn't have feelings one time.
Oh no.
I did, and I meant it.
Oh.
You guys both think you're more likely to talk to a stranger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And go ahead. Finally.
Last question. Who do you love the most in the world? Yay! That was like 50 questions. You
That was
guys
a
did
lot.
great.
That was a lot of
That was a
questions.
lot.
That's probably our like most firepower round of questions we've ever done. Well done.
Killed it.
That's
Killed
new.
it.
You lied too on several.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Which one did she lie on?
Several.
Several.
I don't think so.
Multiple.
Too many to like name.
She would have called me out.
No, she wouldn't have. Ellie's on your side.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention you have an Airbnb now too. How's that going?
Good. Busy.
Did you have to redecorate it and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people in it now?
Off and on.
So people coming to Cookville, if you need an Airbnb, what is it under? How do they find it?
A sister's cottage.
Sister's Cottage. Is there a picture of you and Allie like hugging in it?
No. But it's on there.
That's awesome.
What did we take over there when they were you were getting ready to open
A
it
bed
up? A bed. That's right.
Bed.
And you guys were in there
Dresser,
decorating
I
and
think.
cleaning. And
Dressers, the
Painting.
fridge, or the stove,
that's right.
some other stuff.
That's
It's
right.
always something.
That's good.
It's
Busy,
just
busy.
so much stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's incredible. If you had to eat one thing every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Easy answer.
If I had a what?
Eat
Eat
one
one thing.
thing.
Oh, spaghetti. Every day.
What would your
Not
guys'
what
be?
would you? It's what,
What do
do
you?
you?
That's
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. She made some mean lasagna last night. Your lasagna was fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. What would you guys eat if you had to eat one thing every day for the rest of your life?
Donuts.
Donuts?
Oh.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like with no repercussions
Yeah.
on your health, or like?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you would ask that. Who cares?
No, there's got to be like some type of. There's got to be some type of, or else it'd be easy. Yeah, ice cream
Ice
or
cream.
donuts or something. Yeah.
I would walk into Ralph's Donuts and they would just say my name, Jim, and they'd put out what I want.
Good to go.
What kind of donut?
Yeah.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes. I do like that big apple fritter
Apple
thing they
fritter
had
is
that's the size of
delicious.
your head.
would
I
eat
like the
apple
middle of it.
I would eat apple pie every day.
Man. Yep. If I could do that, but
Choice
then I,
metals.
Yeah.
would
can't.
die of diabetes.
Diabetes.
That's okay. We don't want you to
Yes.
die.
Whatever.
Who do you
Hashtag.
look up to? Who's someone that inspires you? I've always wondered that because you inspire so many people. So I was always wondering, is there anyone that you look up to?
Anybody.
Yes, you do.
Oh gosh, I feel like so many people inspire me too. I don't know. That's hard.
You can think about it.
I feel
That's
like
a
you
hard
put me on
one.
the spot. Delete that, Dre.
You can think about it. What are you most excited about right now?
I just
Is it Airbnb stuff? Is it stuff with the shop? Is it just hanging out with Lakeland and Trice?
Your 30th
Everything, my-
birthday.
Oh my gosh.
I am pretty excited about
Said
turning
you're
30.
excited-
I don't
yeah,
know
you said
why
you were
everybody's
excited
so
about that
depressed
last
about
night.
turning 30, but I am excited about turning 30. I mean, anything to do with my kids is exciting. I mean, he is already 9 months old, which is
What are you gonna do for Trice's birthday?
it's really sad.
He's not technically 9 months old. You get mad at me every time that I take any day away from the
I
child.
do correct him.
It's only he's
He
eight
says
and a half.
that-
He's technically 8.5 months old today.
Yeah,
So
I know.
easy.
But he's, going to be a year old, which, that's exciting. Lakeland is starting a new daycare. She's never been to daycare. She only goes to Mother's Day out.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that, for her to try that. And just, I feel like she is just learning something new all the time.
Yeah.
Especially the last couple of weeks. She's just,
I feel like she's so much chattier now. She talks
Oh,
so much. It's awesome.
the other day, of course, with her lipstick and everything else, I was doing her hair and she goes, Mom. I said, yeah. She goes, you're wearing me out.
Where did she hear that?
I was gonna say, who did she get that one from?
You're 3.
Her mother.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
So busy.
Her mother says that.
But everything my kids do, they're just
What are you gonna do for
That is
Trice's
just
first birthday, or is that too many months away?
probably cry all day. I don't know.
What was Lakeland's first birthday party? What'd you do for that?
It was just an outside, like, vintage pink.
Just a vintage
Just a
pink outside birthday party
Rental
that
tent.
looked like
It could rain. We did it because it was
It
going to
was
rain.
July 7th. Like,
it could rain.
It was cloudy. And it was
no,
hot.
it was not. It was super hot and it was sunny.
But you were prepared.
And it was right where
Never
we got
know.
married.
Loaded for bear.
Well, so what are some boy birthday party ideas?
I haven't even looked.
Sports,
It tears. We're not
Can't
doing
Yeah.
everything
sports.
can't be
Hunting.
sports.
hunting,
He's
fishing.
wearing dinosaurs. Why not like dinosaurs or trucks or something?
Race cars.
Oh gosh, of course.
Still touchy.
No?
No race cars.
No race
Oh,
cars?
race cars.
Oh, still touchy.
Oh, yeah. 5 for 500.
You did good with that, though. You did
Oh.
really good with that.
Yeah.
Those the big kid race cars. I thought I'd
We
miss something
could
about
we could do
little
another
kid.
one of those for Trice's birthday. We could get car seats.
great
and put 'em in
idea.
the back.
Oh gosh.
That was a joke, everybody.
That was a joke.
That was a
It's
joke. That was
We
for
do
fun.
that. Trice would love it, but
I think he'd look pretty cute as a T-Rex.
That would be a video he'd look back at and go, my dad is awesome.
Or how's my dad still alive?
Yeah.
that's true.
My mom is awesome.
How did he make it
She didn't kill him.
this far? Oh
I
my
think there
gosh.
was like, I remember talking to you after the, the front yard basically burned down.
It wasn't. It was the front field.
It was
field.
acres.
Our front yard is fine.
Your front
It's
yard
a
is
lot
fine.
of-
But that is our front yard. I don't know why you keep saying
It's
that.
because
That
it's
is
on the
our
other
front
side of the
yard.
driveway.
But how she said it
Barely.
was like epic. She just stone cold, like, yeah, so they're burning down the front yard. Just like totally, like, that's awesome. She was freaking
You
out.
really handled it like a champ.
She handled it
honestly.
way better
Like,
than I thought.
You were like,
And then
I
you,
mean, it was impressive.
everybody had bought cars, and you were like, hey, Hill, can we keep
Okay.
doing this? And
Yeah,
you're
what are
like,
you gonna
everybody
do?
bought cars. Go play. Go on.
I mean, once I realized that everybody was okay, what do you say?
Right.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, these people had spent money, and
That's
it's
a
already
perspective to
burnt.
have, like,
the worst
I don't
part
know
of
that
that
I
whole
would've-
deal was seeing fire truck pull in, Hillary's car, fire truck. I was like, oh no.
In a caravan, you were sandwiched between fire trucks.
And then,
But I have legitimately not seen dudes more happy.
oh yeah, it was
Like
a
Oh
great
the
my
joy
gosh.
was radiating
I have
from.
to send you guys the pictures. It looks like it's Christmas morning, the faces, which that makes me want to ask you too. How in the world did you learn how to take such incredible pictures? Your pictures of your family, of the shop, of everything you do, like, are you a professional photographer?
should be.
I have
Yeah.
a professional camera. It's just a hobby. I just love
It
it.
can't be like they're incredible.
Thank you.
But not that you need another business, but in case you
well,
want to
I
add
used
one.
to do delivery pictures
Oh, really?
before my kids, and then it just became too much. I can't do it
How long
anymore.
did you do that for?
2 years.
2 or 3.
And
Wow.
it just became I can't be at the hospital and predictable. all day.
That's a hard schedule, right? Because you don't
Yeah,
really
but
know.
I loved it. I
Aw.
loved it so much, but it just became too hard.
How many hours does that, like, would you on average be?
It just depends. So now I just do close friends, family,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Your kids.
Yeah.
But did you teach yourself, or did you go on
Yeah.
YouTube? How'd you figure it out?
Myself.
Seriously. You should be if you taught yourself how to take pictures like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I could never just hand me a camera and produce something like that. It's incredible. Oh, Trice.
He's doing good.
He's like, I'm tired of
He's like, I'm ready to run.
He is. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
But when he goes, it's going to be bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to try to keep up with his sister.
Oh, wow.
What's Lakeland doing today?
Mother's Day out.
Oh, okay.
Only on Fridays.
In the midst of the ensuing ice storm, allegedly. Doesn't look bad.
The
It's
whole
like
town is
55
hunkering
degrees
down
outside.
out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 42 when we got here. It dropped to 20 degrees since this morning.
Do you have any stories about Trice yet? I know it's hard to have funny stories about an infant.
I
but-
mean, bless. He is going to be the toughest little boy.
Toughest kid
I
ever.
mean, his sister knocks him down all the time. He's been ejected from a car seat stroller. Like, and he thinks she's so funny. Like, we're always like, Lakeland, easy. Like, and it's hard because he laughs at her all
I
the
think
time.
she's the funniest thing on the planet.
Right.
And so
That's
it's-
awesome.
Yeah.
So they're already
So-
going to be good playmates.
Yeah, they're best friends. And it just melts my heart because,
Oh.
it's funny how God takes, we wanted a big family and all I wanted was another baby. And now it's like, all I truly wanted was a sibling for her,
Yeah.
and they're just the sweetest.
How did she
together.
first handle getting a little brother? Like,
Great.
Yeah, she's never
Great.
once had
Yeah.
She's
like.
never been jealous at all. She was so
She's
excited.
just rough.
She's,
Like she doesn't understand. Hey,
she's an aggressive hugger.
Right.
that's just
and-
coming from a loving place.
Yeah.
You
she's
know?
just aggressive all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she calls him my baby Trice. She's always my baby Trice. That's how she'll introduce him. That's how that's my baby Trice.
Not that he will need a bodyguard, but I could imagine she'd be a pretty fantastic bodyguard.
Yeah. Well, his birth dad was 6'7", 275. So I'm
Oh,
What?
wow.
yeah.
That's a little linebacker.
So I
gonna be
think he's
interesting
going
to
to
see.
be a brick
Oh, wow.
house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so
he'll
there
be-
will be a point where she's gonna have to go toe to toe because he's gonna,
He's gonna. Yeah.
be a big guy.
What's super cool is just how, different they are personality wise.
Yeah.
She's
Night
a
and
hard charger. He's super chill. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
But it loves it.
Yeah.
Like, she'll tackle him down and he just laughs at her.
he's cracking
I'm
up.
like, okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be funny. She's trying to hurt you, but
Right.
She's-
yeah.
Yeah, like,
but I'm glad that you're laughing.
she
Yeah.
is trying to pin you. This is a wrestling match.
Oh my gosh. What's the biggest lesson that this question for both of you or either of you that you guys have learned being a parent? I feel like I'm sure there's so many.
Patience.
You too, obviously, you're a
Yeah.
parent.
One of the things that's cool that I've heard you talk about, and having been a parent, I have the perspective of, you guys get so much advice. And you're high profile, so a lot of people are always telling you something. And so being able to, hear something, but then kind of do what you want to do, that was super hard for me because you have people who come along and you really got some ideas about what you want done, and trying to figure that out was one of the hardest, difficult things for me. That sounds good, but then to make sure they're
Try to
mine.
Put
and,
it in. Yeah.
yeah, I do what I want to do the way I want to do it, and
That was really hard for me. Like, I was an elementary major, so I know what I'm supposed to do. I knew what and I did the opposite. It's crazy, and it was hard for me to, okay, thank you, and be polite, but you figure it out as you go. And
yeah,
You just
Everybody
do
has
what
an
you want.
opinion.
Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to tell you. And I've learned, like, if you don't have kids, don't
Yeah.
tell me what to do with mine.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you don't
You
know.
have no clue.
It's easy to say, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have kids, you don't know what you should do because you don't know how hard it is.
Absolutely. You haven't been up all night.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah. I
You
know she's crazy. Don't tell me what to do with her.
Yeah.
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 and then every kid's so different, and then you kind
Yes.
of like initially you think, okay, I'm going to do this for the second one the way I did it for the first one, then you really realize, man, that's not the right thing to do. Like,
We have done complete opposite with
Yeah.
him. But Lakeland wouldn't have reacted the same. You know.
So it's based on experience or personality or both, you're saying.
Yeah.
completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a great parent is like a commitment every day.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's going to be a different day. And what
Yeah.
we need to do, you know, how am I supposed to handle that? The things that I would say to my youngest one worked great, and then the older one would not respond to any of that. And matter of fact, it would hurt her. You know,
Yeah.
I said that the wrong way. And you
Right.
just sort that stuff out. You know,
Because your two girls had two very different personalities as well, right?
very different. Yeah.
So were you shocked the
Absolutely.
second time around when you're like, oh man, I know what to tell him, and you're like, oh geez, nope, that's not gonna work for her.
Like it literally went as deep as when the second one was coming along. I loved the first one so much that I wasn't sure how I was going to love the second one, because I
Wow.
loved her with this overwhelming love of
100%.
I would do anything for this. And I was, you can laugh at me, but I literally prayed, God, how am I going to, I don't have enough room. I
Yeah.
can't love
We heard that a lot.
how I love.
Yeah.
And then the second one comes along and it's different. It's a whole new facet of life and love. And there's nothing that in the end at where I'm at in life now that means more than my kids. Nothing. So it's fun to watch people getting to live that and getting to understand it and do it. And
It has to be a wild perspective too, and I always think this, to be at that place in that journey where your kids have grown up and you look at people with younger kids now, just knowing what you know on given your experience, what the decades of their life are going to be like, because it's nothing you can understand unless you've done it.
yeah.
You know, I feel like that must be such an empowering, incredible perspective to have.
Yeah.
Just knowing like, you don't know what this is going to be like, but this is going to be really cool, you know?
There was like lots of things in life when I was 20, 24, 25 that I thought were important, and dudes who were like 50 would look at me and go, you're a goofball. That's just not that important.
Right.
And now I'm that dude. You know, I'm looking back at some of that stuff going, man, you're all upset about something you shouldn't be. And the whole parenting thing is something that unless you've done it and
You
you've
don't know.
lived it,
Yeah.
you just don't know. You don't have the perspective of what it does to your heart. And then I'm never interested in anybody who has an opinion who hasn't done that parenting thing
Right.
at
Yeah.
all.
And I am polite, and I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. Thank you. No.
But
But we had lots of people say, they're wanting a second baby. They're like, I just don't know if I can. But I feel like me and my sister are so close. I feel like that's why I was so. I wanted Lakeland to have a sibling so bad because I'm so close to Allie. Like I just wanted that for her
Yeah.
so bad. And then when we found out he was a boy, I was like, oh, like
Right.
can they be best
are
friends?
they
Of
are they gonna be
course.
best friends? You
Yeah.
know? And I was just, and then it was just so instant. You know, like when you have another baby, it's like it was like, I just felt. I mean, I know it sounds so cheesy, but it was just such an instant. He just healed my heart so fast, and I just fell in love with him so fast. It was like I just couldn't wait to get him home to her.
Yeah.
And she did. She fell in love with him and it made it easier to. She wasn't jealous. She wasn't, and she just loved him so much. And
Well, the sibling relationship is such a special relationship too. I mean, it's so unique, and that person can be your best friend in the whole world, and your confidant, and things that you won't maybe talk to anyone else in the world
Right.
about, and they're the only people that can understand your situation. Because let's be honest, family situations can oftentimes be the best or worst situations ever, and to have that one person to talk to about it is a big deal.
yeah, and you hear siblings that aren't close, and I pray all the time, like, oh gosh, please don't let my kids.
Oh, try
Be like
so
that.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back to what you said, when we found out that we were gonna have Trice, I felt guilty almost with Lakeland. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I don't.
Because
I don't
let's
know if I
be
can-
honest, she's rotten.
Well, yeah,
You
but
know?
it's just like you loved her so much that you're like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I can do this to her. Or
Yeah.
am I splitting my love? But it's not
Mhm.
that at
It
all.
doesn't work like
It
that.
doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
That's incredible. Like I've never
It's
that's
hard
really
to
insightful.
It's hard to.
Because
to
you
think
worry
about
about
it,
how
though.
she's gonna feel.
Yeah,
you
because
know,
I was
she's
like,
gonna
is
feel.
she gonna feel like we're abandoning it? Like it was hard
Wow.
for me, honestly.
I
Until
didn't
he
even
came
think
home.
I could
Once we
do
got
it,
home,
right?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was gonna. I don't know if I can do it.
Right.
Like, and then
And
you
then-
can.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Your heart's a lot bigger than you think.
It is.
And then also just from a faith perspective, you think unconditional love,
Yeah.
and Lakeland can literally be the most rotten thing, whatever, and then 2 seconds later, if she's like, "I'm sorry, Daddy, I love you," and then
Yeah.
you're like, "What did you just do?"
Yeah. It's
What
amazing.
just
Of course.
happened?
Yeah.
You understand. It really puts into perspective
Yeah.
unconditional love, because you don't.
Yeah.
Obviously you have that to some extent with a spouse, but with a kid, it's like
Yeah.
a whole new level. Because literally, it can be 2 seconds later, and I'm like, "All right, yep, you're good.
Yeah.
We're good here."
Yeah. Sometimes you have to be intentional about. Okay, wait a second. I love him so much. I need to actually
Yeah.
Yeah.
be the parent here
hard.
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
sure this.
Yeah.
There's some
Make sure they-
instruction.
Right.
When you could be like,
Yeah, we're good.
yeah, we're good. I think one of the coolest parts about you guys is having adopted them and knowing the stories and how hard you worked and what you went through to make that happen. And to me, I think we forget sometimes just the value of life. We really forget that every individual is worth so stinking much,
right?
And we move past that. And it's just amazing to me who the opportunity that he has and that Lakeland has, and that it would have been different if they hadn't had you guys work hard to have them in your lives. And you get excited about, man, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like he could be anything. He really can
so
be,
cool. That's incredible.
And the opportunity he has because he's got two parents that love him and are going to be there. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I think Trice has had enough.
Yeah, he seems
He's
like
like, man.
Well,
you did such a great job.
Crying on this podcast.
No need.
And I will. If I talk about my kids, I'll start being a ball bag. I can't talk about them.
Thank you for coming and doing this, though.
Yes,
I'm so glad you did.
With on top of everything else you have going on, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for bribing me and talking my husband into another Christmas tree.
Yeah. That was funny because I thought that was a joke. I didn't realize that actually was happening.
No
it
way.
wasn't a joke.
That was a joke as well.
It wasn't a joke. It's happening.
Yeah. And it's on video, so.
Yep. Thank you, Dre. And
you're done, Rich.
Yeah.
Another tree.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
another week.
Another week's fine. Another tree is the.
Oh, stop.
You guys will work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know who
in
will
our
win.
bedroom.
We know who will
And
win.
we can use the red stuff this year.
Episode
That way
14.
everything's
Check us out. CrossFitMayhem.com. What else we got? That's it, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah.
man.
Awesome. Later.
Later.